Thanks for staying with us. Let's continue with tributes to late Minister Jackson Mthembu. Earlier on, I had said that it was Dr. Pieter Groenewald that we were going to be speaking to, but in fact, we are talking to Dr. Pieter Groenewald, who's the leader of the Freedom Front Plus, and of course is joining us to pay tribute to Minister Jackson Mthembu. Good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Certainly, this has been described as a huge loss, and not only for the African National Congress, but certainly the country.
Well, firstly, good evening. I want to start by saying that I would like to express again my condolences to the family and the loved ones of the late Mr. Jackson Mthembu. I know Mr. Mthembu since 1994 because I was in Parliament since then, even before that. But the fact of the matter is that one feature that was very important that South Africa can learn from Jackson Mthembu is that you can have different political views, because there's no doubt that between the Freedom Front Plus and the ANC, there are huge differences as far as politics are concerned. But Jackson was a person who was always friendly with people, and he always spoke to other people with respect. And that actually created the situation where, when we talk about Jackson Mthembu, you can talk with respect. And I think one of the legacies that Jackson Mthembu have left for South Africa, of his legacies, is that we must have respect towards each other, even if we differ. And not only on political views, but on any view. And as I said, he was always friendly. He listened when you spoke or when you differed from him. And if you had a valid argument, he will admit that you have a good argument. And we have experienced it in Parliament when he was the chief whip of the governing party, that, for instance, as you have referred previously, when it came to motions of motion and even the application of the rules of Parliament, if political parties, specifically opposition parties, if they were not satisfied with the application of the rules, they could speak to Jackson Mthembu as a chief whip at that time, and he will follow it up. And I think that distinguished him as a person, although he was a stalwart of the ANC. I mean, you see the tributes from the ANC and from his fellow members of the ANC, the respect they have for Jackson Mthembu. But Jackson was a person who did not hesitate to go to his political party, that if you have a valid argument, that he can put it forward at the ANC, and he will come back and then he will report to say what the difference will be.
And I mean, another issue, just before I let you go, that of course, you know, the FF Plus has really been at the forefront of, is the signing of course, in fact, the making sure that come April, we are now going to be seeing the you know, coming into effect of the Political Party Funding Act. Some have reacted with mixed feelings to this, others saying it, you know, may not even give us the clearer sense of who's funding political parties that we're anticipating, while others are saying it's a step in the right direction. What is your reaction tonight?
Well, firstly, it is a step in the right direction. We must remember that the Freedom Front Plus played a leading role in the amendment of the party political fund. And the reason was twofold. Firstly, we said that donations to political parties must be transparent. Secondly, we said that if you look at the section 236 of the Constitution, it determines that there must be a party political fund, and the main object is to enhance multi-party democracy. Note, multi-party democracy, and that the fund must be proportionally and equal, be distributed between political parties represented in legislatures. Now, what the ANC did was that the previous act made that, can I say, ratio, 10% of the budget were equally distributed among the political parties represented, and 90% proportionally. That actually in practice happened that the ANC got more than 80% of the budget. Now it has changed. It is now a third on an equal basis and 2/3 proportionally. So that is in favor of the other parties and opposition parties in the parliament, so that there is more equal distribution when it comes to the party political fund. We must also remember that big businesses can still donate into a fund that will be administered by the Electoral Commission, and that money will also be distributed on the ratio as I've mentioned. That means businesses in South Africa can make now contributions, big contributions, and then they will know that they are enhancing the multi-party democracy in South Africa.
All right. Thank you so much for your time tonight. That's Dr. Pieter Groenewald, the leader of the Freedom Front Plus, not only paying tribute to late Minister Jackson Mthembu, but also reacting to the political party funding bill that comes into effect in April. We are still going to be having a conversation around the new variant and just how immune are those that have had COVID-19 previously going to be against this particular new variant. And also, Joanne Mbanjo, our business editor, is standing by to bring us the very latest.